Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rebecca, and in today's video we're going to go ahead and have a look at an overhead apportionment and reapportionment question. So I'm not going to go over the basics because I went through that in a prior video, and I'll post a link at the top just here that you can see, and instead we're going to jump straight into a question. So at the top here we're being given a blank table, and what we need to do is we need to put the costs that we can see below here into three cost centers initially, and then we're going to reapportion all of those costs from those three cost centers into two profit centers. So our three cost centers are maintenance, stores and refreshments, and our two profit centers are routine 1 and routine 2. So what we should see at the end of this is that we've got a lot of costs up here, and then when we get to this point down here, there's not going to be anything in maintenance, stores and refreshments because it's all going to sit over here in routine 1 and routine 2. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to pop in the totals that we've got here and here into this table up here. So I'm going to pop that up there like so, and this one up here as well. So what you should have at all times is a total that matches back to our total cost, which we do. You can see here that that figure there and that figure there are exactly the same, which is a good start. Now we want to just pop in our types of costs just up here. Now what I'll say is that this one where we've got 38618 is really easy to populate because we've already been told that 27,500 relates to maintenance, 5,486 relates to stores, and 5,632 relates to refreshments. So I'm just going to pop those into this line there, and you should see that all of that again adds back to that 38618, which it does. Okay, now then, with these ones here, these are not department specific, so you can see there that they were department specific, hence why we could put those in there quite quickly. But in this additional information column here, which I'm actually just going to copy, pop right here so that we can see it. Let's get that formatting a bit better. What we can see here is that we've got different ways of apportioning these costs up here. So with the likes of rent, rates, light, heat and power, or anything specifically factory related where you've got a floor space, you typically split costs between the floor space that they maintain. And the way that you do that is to work out a percentage of the current floor space and then multiply that by the total. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So in here under maintenance, I'm going to take floor space that we've got under maintenance of 36,589, and I'm going to divide that by 93,725, which is the total floor space. Now if we look at that, that gives you a percentage of 39%. Now if I did that again under stores and take the 24,568 divided by 93,725, and then for refreshments, the 32,568 divided by 93,725. What you'll see is that we've got 100% across maintenance, stores and refreshments. So you want to take that percentage and then times that by the total of £315,000 under rents, rates and premises, and that'll give you a total under maintenance. So we're going to do that again for stores and again for, and I'm going to make that a number. So you can see there that all of those added together equal 315,000. So whenever you're doing this, you want to make sure that your total column adds back to what the total costs are for that particular type of cost. So I'm going to do the same again with light, heat and power. So just the 36,589 floor space divided by total floor space for each one of those. I'm just going to do this quite slowly just to show you, because I know the first time that you do this is a bit difficult to follow, and difficult to follow why you're doing what you're doing sometimes. Okay, make sure that they are aligned. So yeah, that equals 265,888. So with this one, I was timesing those percentages by the total cost in light, heat and power, which is 265,888. Now then, What we've got here is other variable expenses mileage. So we've got £451,256 of costs to split. Now down here, the most appropriate way of allocating those costs would not be by floor space because we're not talking about a factory. It wouldn't be by carrying value of an asset because we're not, again, talking about an asset. So it's going to be the number of miles that we use to allocate those costs. Now, the difference here is actually we don't want to allocate that under maintenance, stores and refreshments because if you look in the table, that's actually split only between routine 1 and routine 2. So we're not going to put anything here, and actually when we look at depreciation, we're not going to put anything here either. So nothing under maintenance, stores and refreshments is going to go in column C and column D. So it's effectively the same sort of thing we're doing every time. So like here, we're going to take this miles, which is 45,256 under routine 1, and divide it by the total number of miles to give us a percentage. And again, with the 32,568 divided by 77,824. So that's your 100%. And then we're going to times that by your 451,256. And again, in routine 2. And you should see again that those add back to 451,256. So with depreciation, we know it's going to go under routine 1 and routine 2, but we've previously discussed that anything in regards to depreciation, assets, etc., in most circumstances, we're going to look at the carrying value of assets as a way of apportioning those costs. So if we take this 565,895 under routine 1 divided by the total, do the same again for routine 2, which is the 245,658 divided by 811,553. And then we multiply those percentages by the 312,557, which is the total cost under depreciation, and just round that down. Then that's now been allocated. So we've done step 1, which is great, but when we read the question, we can see here that we've got these two profit centres, which are routine 1 and routine 2. So we now need to reapportion everything that's in maintenance, stores and refreshments. So I'm going to write here the reapportionment of maintenance, put that down, and then just change the title. So what we're going to do is equals minus the total of everything that's in maintenance, equals minus the total of everything in stores, and equals minus the total of everything in refreshments. Now the reason why it's a minus is because at the very end, when we're looking at our final total here, we want to have absolutely nothing left in maintenance, stores and refreshments because we've reapportioned that over here into routine 1 and routine 2. Now then, we need a little bit more information as to how we're going to do this. So if we look further down again in the question, there's a little bit of information down here. So let's just copy that up there so we can see it a bit better. I'm actually going to move that one down and move that one up just so that we can see them a bit better. So what we're told here, if I just make that a bit clearer, is that 75% of the maintenance department time is spent with routine 1 and the rest with routine 2. So all we do is we're going to take minus 254,271. So in my formula, I'm doing a minus on a minus to get a plus because I'm adding those costs into routine 1. So I'm going to times by 0.75. And then in routine 2 even, I'm going to do equals minus 254,271 and times by 0.25. So when I add this together, I should get 0, which I do. Now in stores, here, it's saying 55% of the stores department inventory is with routine 1. So same sort of logic again, equals minus 157,753 times by 0.55. And then equals minus this 157,753 times by 0.45. And that there should equal 0. So I've got 45% of the stores department cost in routine 2 and 55 in routine 1. And the refreshments, I've got 64% in routine 1. So this 207,482 times by 0.64. And then 207,482 times by 0.36, and that should equal 0 again. So now you can see that those costs under maintenance are correctly allocated under routine 1, routine 2, same with stores, same with refreshments, and we've finally got 890,615 under routine 1 and £492,704 under routine 2. So that's it. I think with these type of questions, as long as you keep it simple and you take your time and you really read the question and get an understanding of why you're doing what you're doing, then it just makes this question a little bit easier to follow. So I hope you found all of that useful. If you've got any further questions, feel free to put those in the comments section below and I'll do my best to get back to you. And otherwise, consider subscribing and I shall see you on the next video.